I played 100 Days of Coral Island. Hello everybody, this is GamerGar. Welcome to a lovely new video of Coral Island. The full version of Coral Island has been released, so it only makes sense that we jump straight back into this beautiful title and experience the adventure again from the start. But this time a ton of new content has been added to the game. Some of that content includes a storyline to revitalise the town, the ability to get married and start a family. We have over 200 clothing and decoration options. We can adopt pets. There's a total now of 8 unique festivals, each filled with minigames. We can now access all of the diving depths to 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50 meters. We can also access all of the mining areas, which is the earth, water, fire and wind. And there's so much more for us to explore. We can even get down into the Merfolk Kingdom and interact with the Merfolk NPCs. So with all that in mind, let's start our new farming life and see how well we can do in spring. So we have just created our character. We've met the mayor of Coral Island. His name is Connor, a lovely man indeed. And he's going to give us our first quest to interact with the local carpenters because we need to get our house upgraded to get our hands on some handy dandy features. For example, a television. So I'm going to cut down a couple of trees here. I'm going to break open some rocks and I'm going to make a patch so I can grow some crops that Connor was kind enough to give me for free. And these crops will come in super handy later on. I can either sell them or use them for energy. So I'm going to go to the local carpenter here. Her name is Dinda. I'm going to ask Dinda if she could please upgrade my house. The requirement is 50 wood and 20 pieces of stone. The great thing about the first house upgrade is that you can choose your style of house. And there's a lot of styles to choose from, which is really nice. So the style I'm going to go with here is style number 3. I find this style to be the most pleasant. That's just my personal opinion, of course. It doesn't matter what style you pick, the interior of the houses are all the same. I also came across a new function here called the errand board. An NPC I haven't met yet is looking for a carrot. So I'm going to run in to Sam's shop. He actually looks like Gus from Breaking Bad, but that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments if you think Sam looks like Gus. In all fairness, I think he does. But you know what? For 500 gold, a backpack upgrade is needed. But for now, I can't afford it. I have to prioritise other things. So we're going to get some carrot seeds here. I'm going to plant those back on the farm. And that's going to get the ball rolling with that errand quest as well. Once we finish up, we get foraging level 1. And we don't make any money today because today was primarily just running around the town, meeting people and getting the farm set up. I gave Yori a daffodil in the hopes to foster a loving relationship. She wasn't impressed and told me I should have let it grow. In all fairness, the daffodil had fully grown, so it only makes sense to pluck it out of the ground. Gift it to someone, right? For the rest of the day, I was just gathering basic resources. I picked up my first geode and that will be the first of many. Those can be cracked open at the local blacksmith. I also got a coffer, and you end up getting a lot of those when you play the diving minigame, and you can also bring those to the blacksmith as well. I managed to get my hands on a fishing pole and a net, and you can use these items to put up fish and catch critters. There is an absolute huge amount of fish and critters to be caught in this game, and those critters and fish can be donated to the museum, and the more items we donate to the museum, the more we can increase the town rank and the more rewards that we get. So it's definitely worth our while to catch all of these items as quickly as possible. If we have already donated an item to the museum, we can just sell the items that we don't need. Some items have other uses as well. As you can see, I pulled up a huge variety of fish and I caught a huge variety of insects today. I'm just going to donate all of these items to the museum now. That's a total of 7 items donated to the museum. And as we can see there, I get a really nice reward, which was a candied tree seed. And those rewards do get much better the more we progress in the game. I got a snakehead later on, just outside of the bundles area, followed by a tilapia and a red snapper. And that is just a small handful of fish caught today. There's just a huge amount of fish to catch in this game. So I donated those items to the museum, and that's over 10 items now donated. Potato seeds as a reward. I can plant those seeds straight down into the farm. So the next day, as we can see, I got a few patches up with different crops in each patch. I'm going to go back to Sam now. It's time to get the first backpack upgrade because I really needed more storage space. I kept another storage space on the previous day. I got a barracuda today. That was quite the difficult catch, but we got there in the end. The barracuda actually sells for decent money, but I'll donate the first one to the museum. Picked up a fly as well, followed by a boxfish. It then occurred to me that I can get married in this game. I can start a family in this game. I could have kids in this game. So I made a flower bouquet. And it's actually easy enough to make. You just have to run around, pick up a few flowers off the ground. There's flowers all over the place in Coral Island if you just run around the place, and they respawn most days. So I decided to try out Alice today, and she said it was pretty cool. Thank you very much. That is a liked gift from Alice. She has loved gifts, but I just don't have the machines right now to make the gifts that she loves. But we will work on Alice, and we'll try to get her to maximum hearts, and we will try to marry her by the end of the year. The next day, Mark pays me a visit, and he tells me about the cavern northwest of my farm. And he gives me some directions here in terms of how to get to it. In all fairness, I didn't need the directions. Coral Island isn't that big. We all know where the cavern is, of course. But because we're now on version 1.0, the cavern now has 4 areas we can fully explore. I'm also putting up some daisies and turnips today, thanks to lovely Mayor Connor. And I am going to sell these to get some money. I might keep a few for energy. I'm also giving Alice more flower bouquets today because I really want to get the friendship points up with her so we can excel our lovely relationship. I then visit the cavern and I get a cool cutscene here. As we can see, there's 4 doors in total. 1 door is already open, and this is the Earth dungeon. And there's a good couple of levels in this dungeon we have to get through. Every time we get down 10 levels, we get a chest, and there's really nice prizes in those chests. Every time we get down 5 levels, we get a checkpoint. So it just means we can make steady progression every single day we come down here. As we can see, the first enemy type is a caterpillar enemy type. I'm not too bad at the combat, but I could be a lot better. I haven't played the game in a while. They've added a new feature to this game since the last time I played. It's the ability to use a special attack with your sword once a meter builds up. So you just right click on the mouse and you spin around there doing some additional damage, which is pretty cool. By the end of the day, I got a level up in farming. I could make the makeshift scarecrow. I needed that badly to protect my crops from those nasty birds that want to eat all my crops. The next day, we're back down into the caverns. We're fighting slimes, and we're not collecting copper ore, believe it or not. We are actually collecting bronze ore. I was hoping when the version 1.0 came out, the developers would fix that, because bronze is a processed material, you know. But look, we're just going to sum it up to Coral Island being very magical, and bronze just grows in the ground. So there you go. I got down to level 10 today. I picked up the Ring of Speed. And I never got a ring the last time I played this game. But in all fairness, the last time I played this game, it was the beta version. The Ring of Speed increases tool use speed. That's going to come in so handy when we're using our watering can and we're hoeing up the ground. I got a letter the next day from Kira. She wants me to enter a guild, which is right beside her house. And I never got to enter the guild before. The door was always there in the previous version, but now I get to go in and see what's inside. So I got super excited when I got this letter. I also had a chat with Connor today, and he explained that the town is currently a rank F. But by doing lots of big main quests in this game and by completing certain amounts of content, we can increase the rank of the town. And every time we increase the town rank, we unlock more content that we get to play with. We can even unlock more crops. We can unlock pets, we can unlock different types of farm animals. The list just goes on. So I'm going to make a furnace today. I need that to process my already processed bronze ores into bronze bars so I can upgrade some tools. Once the first furnace has been made, I need 5 ores and 1 coal to make a bar. And I need bars to get all of my tools upgraded. One man's trash is another man's treasure. I got a brown trout from a trash can. I was super happy with that. I can bring that to the museum, donate it. I also got a black phantom ghost fish today, followed by a firefish. More lovely museum items for me. But why stop there? It was time to do even more fishing. Picked up a sea cucumber. Never got that one before when I played this game, so that was very exciting to get. And after the sea cucumber, I then got a mandarin fish, a colourful fish that comes out at night. That was also a really cool fish. I know I said at the start they've added a lot of fish to this game, but I'm telling you right now, they have added an absolute ton of fish to this game. Capturing all the fish the game has to offer is going to be quite the challenge indeed. 27 items donated now in total to the museum. That was pretty nice. For the rest of the day, I'm just cutting down more trees because I need to get wood for all manner of upgrades that we can do on this farm. I had a weird dream later on. The sacred trees, they wanted me to visit them. I only had to visit 1 sacred tree to start one of the big main quests, so we'll do that later on in the day. The first thing we're going to do though is pull up these lovely carrots, and we're going to try to complete that errand. The potatoes are also ready, so we're going to pull them up as well. So because we got some skill ups here, we can actually choose what kind of perks we want. And the quality forge is pretty good, chance to forge better quality items, but the speed demon was the one we were going to get. Increase sprinting by 15%, that's a no-brainer right there. We finally tracked down our mystery errand giver, his name is Walter, and he took the card from us, no problem at all. We gotta get some relationship points with Walter, and we're also going to get some money. Next up, I located one of the sacred trees, I interacted with it, and we get a cool cutscene here of this giant spawning, and this giant is basically going to tell us all about the goddess that we need to save, and if we do save the goddess, we're going to get lots of great perks and lots of rewards in the process. So, the goddess is basically the community version of Stardew Valley. It's basically lots and lots of bundles that we have to complete, and every time we complete bundles, more content gets unlocked in the game. And let me tell you right now, there is a lot of content locked behind those bundles. So I finally got some more relationship points with Alice from giving her more flower bouquets. That was pretty nice. All of our mining has paid off with access to some lovely mining perks. We're going to go with Rock Domino, chance to break surrounding rocks when we're mining up rocks down in the mines. And that is a huge energy saver right there. So it's time to roll on with the main quest. I went to the area here that this giant told me to go. And it's hilarious because he calls me human because he can't pronounce human. So I just thought that was a little bit funny. The goddess of flowers is the goddess of Coral Island. Once upon a time, she worked with the merfolk and giants to maintain the balance of the island. She's worshipped by both the giants and merfolk, and to this day, locals believe that the goddess is responsible for rejuvenating the island's water, soil and well-being. So it's definitely in our best interest to try to complete as many bundles as possible and please the goddess. As we can see, we've got tons of bundles to do. We have essential resources, spring, summer, fall, winter sausage and bundles, and we also have other bits and bobs as well. The spring sausage and bundle is easy enough to do. We just need a carrot, a daisy, and a few other bits and bobs that we can get from the ground. So for the rest of the day, I'm cutting down more trees. I want to make more space on my farm. The more space I have, the more I can do. And then it's back to putting up insects again, because I really want to get more items donated to the museum and increase the town rank. It's now time for our first big event of the whole year. This is the potluck. This happens in spring every single year. And I get to donate an item to the potluck. Now the better item I donate, the more relationship points I'm going to get from a lot of the Coral Island NPCs. A bronze star crayfish won't get me the best response, but it will get me the second best response. I also done a sack race here, and you can do a few rounds of this. You can also redo this event as many times as you wish if you want to strive for a better score. I did it a few times, but the best score I could achieve was a second place. I just could not get first place in this event. My stamina wasn't high enough. A great perk to doing these events is that if you get a top rank, for example I got second rank, it will automatically give me the rewards for the ranks below that as well. So you can end up coming out of these events with tons of rewards. There was also other stuff to do at the potluck event. There was a store, and I could purchase some really cool items. I saw this Sakura farmer outfit, could not resist. I just thought the pink outfit looked absolutely awesome. So I paid the 2,500 gold and I purchased it. I then started the main event, and Judge Rosh here was very happy with it. She said the local products are great, they complement each other, lovely stuff, and I get loads of friendship points with a lot of the NPCs from that, including Alice, which was really nice. It was then back to catching critters. I got some butterflies today, the tiger swallowtail butterfly, that was pretty nice. We're then going back into the caverns. I want to make a lot more progress in the caverns. I'm still on the starter floors, floor 19 at the moment, and we're getting some monster essence and bronze ores. When I get down to floor 20, I will get another prize. I got a gold encrusted hammer. This is actually a big upgrade to the sword that I had. It can do pretty big damage. It is much slower than the sword, but it hits harder. I got down to floor 30, I picked up some spikes, just 10 floors to go, and we'll be finished with the Earth dungeon. We can then proceed into the next dungeon to get even better resources. I make another furnace today, and we're going to use that to smelt even more bars. I didn't have enough bronze ores to get a whole lot of bars out of it, but I do end up with tons of ores that are on in the challenge. It's time to get some tool upgrades done, and as we can see, because of the full version of the game is here, we can get all of the best tools the game has to offer. Primarily, if I'm not in the caverns or fishing, I'm just running around with the net looking for new critters to capture. I also visited the goddess's bundles today, had a look at the essential resources, and I had everything on me to get that bundle completed. Because this is the first bundle we have completed, we're not only going to get a recycling machine as a reward, we're also going to get the Goddess's Blessing. This gives us the ability to warp between waypoints that are scattered all through Card Island, and the more progress we make in the game, the more waypoints we will unlock. Once diving is unlocked, we can then start our dive anytime between 6 in the morning and 11 o'clock at night by interacting with the boat at the diving pier. While we're underwater, we need to clear trash and debris on the ocean floor with our scythe to obtain resources and collect solar orbs. Now the solar orbs are super important because they're used to clean away all of the big dirty oil, and it will allow us to progress deeper into the diving minigame, and the deeper we get, the better resources we get. So we finally make it into the guild here now, and we speak to Kira. She says good job for defeating all those monsters, and we get the initiation badge, the SOS badge. This means we can enter the guild room anytime we want. And basically there's just a shop inside the guild that will sell us all manner of rings and weapons should we ever wish to switch up our combat style later on in the game. There's tons of items you can choose from. I visited the local blacksmith today, got him to break open loads of geodes and coffers that I have been accumulated over the past couple of days. I then went back to take a look at the spring sausage and bundle, and I managed to get all of the items that it needs to unlock the sugarcane seeds. And the sugarcane seeds are actually really handy because once they grow, we get to harvest them every single day thereafter. I also got more relationship points with Alice because I keep giving her flower bouquets every chance I get. Today I made my first extractor. This is needed to make kelp essence, and there's different types of kelp essence we can make depending on the quality of kelp we put in. And we need kelp essence for a huge array of items, including fishing rod and bug net upgrades. I also got some capturing skill ups, so I'm going to go with not the double catch. I almost selected the double catch, but I decided to take the light feet, 10% less awareness. This means the tougher critters to catch will become slightly easier, and there's some critters out there that are nigh impossible to catch without the proper setup. So we're going back to the blacksmith today to break open a lot more coffers that we got from the diving minigame. We're also going to upgrade our scythe, because the more we upgrade the scythe, the faster progress we can make with the diving minigame. And we do a lot of diving in the first 100 days of the video because there's a ton of diving to get through. There's tons of trash to get through before we can actually finish off that huge big quest. So I finally got to the end of the Earth dungeon today, and I managed to free the first giant, which was pretty cool. So there's 4 giants to go now, and we can now enter a new area inside the mines. So the first giant that we freed here, his name is Grog, and he is also going to give us a very potent ability in the next few minutes, and that is the ability to enchant our items, which is really cool. So we're now in the water dungeon. Now get some silver ores to make silver bars, which is pretty cool. We need silver to upgrade tools. The next day, Grog here does some sort of a magical dance, and he removes all of the big trees and the vines from this area, so we can now access the giant village, which is really cool. And inside the giant village, you see like a little way shrine there in the center. We can use that to enchant our gear. But we need earth gems to enchant our gear, and I'm not too sure on how to get more earth gems. Grog gives me 3 earth gems to play around with, but I never actually tried to get any more than 3. So if you know how to get more earth gems, please let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. The first enchant was Swift Swing, 20% faster on the tool. I enchanted it again to see what I'd get. Extra Drop popped up. I was going to select Extra Drop, but I said, you know what? I'll keep the Swift Swing because it means I can progress faster in the mines if my character has faster actions. It was then back to the caverns, but I wanted to do some fishing to see if I could find any unique fish in the caverns that I couldn't find outside. I managed to get a koi, and I got the flower horn as well. Donated those. Up on 46 items now at the moment, so I'm doing really well with the museum. I also made it down to floor 10 in the water dungeon and picked up 8 candied tree seeds. These are so handy for energy. Energy is something I run out of all of the time, especially when I'm in the caverns. Sent back to grinding up silver ores, trying to get down as quickly as possible. Found an NPC here called Jim. I asked him, why was he throwing rocks at fish? He said, are you really that thick? These fish are fine. Honestly, I didn't believe him. He said, this is something we used to do. It was a little contest at the end of our outings. She told me once she appreciated how I didn't hold back. It was refreshing for her. So what Jim is trying to say is that he had a friend or a partner, some weird relationship where his partner got off every time he thrown rocks at fish to hurt them. So Jim, in my opinion, as of this moment in time, is a bit of a monster. He's a bit of a fish bully. Who throws rocks at fish and gets enjoyment out of it? Jim's partner does. So we gotta watch out for Jim, everybody. We gotta make sure he doesn't throw rocks at any more fish. And while we're on the topic of protecting fish, fish have very short memories. It's okay to pull them up and donate them to the museum. It's even okay to pull them up and sell them, because I'm sure when you sell them on, people keep the fish as pets. So they're going to be happy nonetheless. Next up, we're going to upgrade our site to the silver site. I'm prioritising the site at the moment because I want to make faster progress with the diving minigame. I want to get through the trash faster. It's then time to pull up more critters. I got very lucky today. I managed to pull up a centipede. These can be quite difficult because the aggro bar on them is very, very quick. And if you don't approach it very fast, it will just scutter away. I managed to get a sprinkler as a reward today, and the more sprinklers I can accumulate, the more farming I can do. Because I donated over 50 items, I got a cool cutscene here from Scott saying he can get the Kickstarter campaign started. That's really good for the town. I also got a letter from my grandma with 500 gold inside. Thanks so much, grandma. I love you too. It's time to harvest some sugar canes, and we're back down into the caverns. We're at the floor 20 here now in the water dungeon. We picked up a new ring, and this one is the Amber Shield ring, which is pretty cool. If we go into the description, it has a small chance to completely nullify damage. That's actually a very nice ring indeed. It's then back to grinding up more ores, looking to make some progress. Before the day was out, we got floor 30. We picked up some explosive level 2s. They're very nice indeed. Level 3 mining rewards us with a stone chest. That is much better than the regular makeshift chest. I got my silver sight back today. It was straight back down doing the diving. And at the moment we are just one-shotting all the trash. I also picked up a sea slug today. Really cool diving loot. That can be donated to the museum. We also got some solar orbs as well to clear away more of that nasty oil that the pufferfish company are spreading all through Coral Island. The next day I got my very first maple syrup. Now I ended up selling that, but I'm sure that could be used in a huge array of different things. It was time for another big event today. This was a tree planting event. But before I could plant all the trees, I had to clear up all of the debris all over the area. So Connor says that illegal logging did serious damage here on this patch of land. Now, as my knowledge goes so far, I actually can't make it back to this patch of land just yet. That might change in the future. So the shop at this event had lots of candied tree seeds. I purchased all of them because they give great energy. With the rest of my money, I also wanted to get some really good fertilizer so that the quality of my crops would dramatically improve. And getting good quality fertilizer level 2 would see to that just fine. So I spent all my money on fertilizer level 2. Then it was time to clear all of the trash up, get rid of all the wood, and start planting some tree seeds. And once all of the tree seeds were planted, I got some really nice merit points, and I also got a lot of relationship points with all of the NPCs as well, including a banana sapling, which we get to plant on our farm, and we get to harvest some bananas. More relationship points with Alice. Things were looking real good for us. So I had to water that banana tree every single day. Then it was back diving. I got a pom-pom crab, which was pretty cool, and we're now getting a little bit lower with the diving. That means better resources for us. I freed Grantle here. He's a giant turtle. Gave me a scuba snack to say thanks. I also picked up a cannonball jellyfish. The next day I went back diving again and I picked up an arrow crab. So all of these underwater sea critters are going to be donated to the museum. More rewards for me, of course. I freed another big ocean creature here. Had a chat with Gertle. She gave me a silver kelp, thank you very much. Then I spotted another sea creature that I've never seen before. This one was an upside down jellyfish. So there was lots to explore down here. It wasn't just all trash. Of course, once we have all the trash cleared and we go back to visit these areas, there'd be a lot more critters roaming around the place. We finally got our first town rank upgrade. We went from F to E, and look at all the things we unlocked. Pet adoption, new clothes, new fruit plants, more R&D tears at the lab. We also unlocked ducks, and that reminded me there and then, I could get animals on my farm. So that is something I do look into, and that is something you will see before the 100 days are over. You will see lots of animals on our farm. So we got to Mantle today, and we got a reward for freeing him. We also met the mermaids. Aegon was the first mermaid, followed by Denali, and they were very impressed with me that all the oil is being cleared up. I also spoke with Ling and told her that I saw some mermaids, and she said that she hasn't seen them in so long. So I wondered there and then, is there a relationship between Ling and the merfolk? But we'll get back to that later on in the video, probably the next video I'd say. The process of giving Alice gifts is going really strong. Even though they're light gifts, we're making steady progress with her, and I'm hoping to get married before the first year is out, and I'd love to have kids as well before the first year is out. So we got some really cool perks here for diving, and I'm going to go with rare trash. A 2% chance that something rare will drop from trash, and 2% may seem very low, but there is thousands upon thousands of trash on the diving floor. It's a lot more common than you think. So it's time to break open more coffers and donate more items to the museum, and look at all the items we get to donate today because of the sheer amount of coffers that we picked up from the diving minigame. We're now up on 70 items in total. We look at that, a dragon fruit seedling. We get to grow it on the farm, and we get to harvest dragon fruit within the next couple of weeks. So I got a whelk today that can be donated to the museum, and for the rest of the day I actually spend it just processing some goods into scrap and into compost. The next day I spoke with Ling, and she upgraded my diving suit to a diving suit 2.0, and she's added a speaker and mic in my mouthpiece, an earpiece and a little processor, and here's the great part. It means that I can talk to the merfolk. I can start relationships with the merfolk when I eventually get to the merfolk kingdom, and they are really exciting times indeed, let me tell you. The rest of the day was just spent diving, clearing up trash, got more relation points with Alice. You know, I got really excited today. I thought I could harvest this dragon fruit, but it wasn't fully ripe yet. So that's just footage of me thinking I could harvest the fruit, but I couldn't. With all of the resources I had accumulated, I decided to make lots of sprinkler level 1s. It just means I could buy a lot more crops, and I wouldn't have to spend hours upon hours watering those crops every day. I also got a bee house, and I made some tiles here that I could put down on my farm to get it more organised. Back down into the caverns, and I was farming for bronze ores. I needed tons of bronze ores and silver ores. I needed every ore, to be honest with you, to make tons of processing machines. Picked up the Red Admiral, the Hickory Horned Devil, and I also got the lovely recluse striped garden caterpillar today as well. All of these lovely critters will be donated into the museum for even more town ranking points. It was then back down into the water dungeon. We got very lucky today. Using explosives, we managed to make it to floor 40. We picked up 6 Jamus, and we get to free yet another giant. We now get to access the next layer of this cavern area, and that means we can farm gold ores and make gold bars. The gold bars actually sell for decent money, but they're not the best selling bars, not by a long shot. The bars we get in the 4th layer sell for superior amounts of money. I cannot wait to get to that level. The money is just going to start pouring in, literally. Gong is the name of the 2nd giant, and before we finish up with spring, I quickly run into the 3rd layer just to get some quick gold ores, because we need that to upgrade tools as well. I managed to get down to level 10. I got some decoys. I don't actually use those. I end up selling those, and that's more or less spring done. It is the first day of summer. Let the next season commence. Lots of collectibles this season. We also need to go to Sam and get some crops. So without further ado, let's see what Sam has in his shop. We're also going to hoe up all the ground. We're going to reorganize the farm a little bit, trying to put down as much sprinklers as possible. And we've got some fertilizers going as well that will definitely work out in our favour. Some of the harder bundles later on will require much higher quality crops, so it's definitely worth our while to get our hands on those higher quality fertilizers to make our lives much easier. We managed to catch a ghost mantis today. This is quite rare and it is quite difficult to catch, so I was really happy with that. By the end of the day, this is what our new farm looks like. So we've got sprinklers laid out. We're still using regular scarecrows, and before I went to bed, I went out and did some critter catching, got the polyphemus moth there. The next day, we were picking up hibiscuses off the ground and other flowers that we came across as well. Some of these are needed for bundles, others are needed to make lovely flowered bouquets. Came across an event here. Of course, I'm going to take Alice aside, and Suki wasn't too impressed. 2 peas in a pod? Absolutely right, Suki. See, we want to marry Alice as quickly as possible. We want to have kids with Alice, and maybe later on, if we find a more interesting NPC, we might pack Alice in. But that's just between Ourselves, we won't tell Alice that. So we're doing some diving today and we're making steady progress. Now if you look at the top right hand side of the screen there, you'll see we're on around 27 meters. The deeper that gets, the tougher it is to clear up this trash. At the moment all this trash is taking 2 hits, so in order to make faster progression we will have to upgrade our site to a gold and later on an osmium quality so we can start one-shot all these nodes. So we just got a couple new critters there as well from the diving minigame, and we're going to donate all these to the museum. So that was the skunk cleaner shrimp. As a reward we get silver ores and silver kelp. Not bad, not bad. We will get much better rewards later on though. So Jeff set me on a mayonnaise machine here now, and we really do need to try out some animals on this farm. We don't have any coops or barns just yet, but we will be getting those very soon, and we will be going through the whole animal experience on Coral Island. We're going to visit the local blacksmith as well today. We're going to get him to break open geodes and coppers to try and get more items that we can donate to the museum. We're also going to upgrade our axe here to a bronze axe. If we can upgrade that a few times, we can try to get our hands on some hardwood as well, which we need for later on. So a few more items donated there in the museum. That's 88 items now in total. There's actually hundreds, about hundreds of items you can donate to the museum. Just so you know, it is a very long and tedious task. We're also going to upgrade our fishing rod with Sunny. That's going to take a few days as well. So basically, in order to upgrade all of the tools, you need, different types of iron bars. But if you want to upgrade the fishing rod and the net, you need essences. So you have to do the diving minigame to get better nets and better fishing rods. So I got some bananas today, and I can actually turn that into banana jam if I want, if I put it inside the mason jars, which is pretty cool. And that does increase the quality of the banana. I'm going to get a mining perk here now. There's a couple of really good perks to be had, but I can only choose one. I'm going to get double ore. 20% chance to get double ore. That's a no-brainer right there. So I'm giving Alice more flower bouquets today. This is a liked gift. Now she has loved gifts. I know what they are, but I just haven't gotten around yet to getting the artisan items I need in order to make loved gifts for her. It was time for a lovely heart event with Alice. So every time you get a couple of hearts with an NPC, if you're in the right place at the right time, you can unlock really cool events. She asks me what do I think I was in my past life. I'm going to say a fish because at this moment in time, I have a head like a sieve. So I definitely think in my past life, I was a fish. My wife would find that very funny. So it's back to Pablo. We are going to upgrade our pickaxe to a silver pickaxe just so we can make faster progression down in the caverns. Because I have my upgraded axe, I can finally get rid of all of these tree stumps on the farm. I was hoping to get hardwood from these tree stumps, but alas, it is not meant to be. I also can't buy hardwood from the carpenter, so I'm going to have to get it off the bigger logs later on, so I'm going to have to upgrade my axe a bit more. Scott visited me today, and it's time for the opening ceremony of the Kickstarter event, which was pretty cool. So I went to the museum with Scott here, and we actually get a really cool event where it shows statues, and someone just tell me in the comments if I am wrong about this, but I am pretty sure all of the statues that we're going to see in the Founders Hall are everyone in real life that helped Coral Island get off the ground, that paid money from their own pockets to help the developers get this game up and running. And all the statues you see here are all of those people. So let's give a big shout out now to all of the people that were part of the Kickstarter event for Coral Island, because if it wasn't for them, we never would have got this amazing game. So thanks everyone for supporting Coral Island. We get another prize today from a fish called Mola. We get a shimmering coffer. That's not a bad coffer, and that will yield hopefully some good artifacts that we can put into the museum. So we're now still on kind of the mid-section of the diving minigame. There's a lot to go. The diving area is absolutely massive. We will eventually clear off the whole zone, but for now we can just do it bit by bit every day. So we're going to get a coop, put that down on the farm, and we're going to donate a few more things that I caught around Coral Island to the museum, picking up some pumpkin seeds there as well as a reward. We're back down doing diving again, and we do an awful lot of diving because I really wanted to get to the Mermaid Kingdom, and I really wanted to see all of the mermaid NPCs, and I wanted to see if there's any extra content down there that I couldn't experience when I first played Coral Island when it was in the beta. So I got my first fossil node today. These fossil nodes will become extremely common, and it's just another node you can break open and give items to the museum. But you have to break those nodes open by bringing them to the laboratory. You can't bring them to Pablo. He's just a bit too rough with the fossil nodes. But when it comes to breaking open those coffers, Pablo is the man. We need the more delicate touch of Ling here to break open the fossil nodes. And as we can see, We're getting dinosaur parts, just got a velociraptor part there, which was pretty cool. So we're going to get more items that came to the museum, and as we can see now, we almost have 100 donated. I'm very curious to see what we're going to get when we've donated 100 items, and I was hoping at the time I was going to get something really good. So I got a Gulf Artillery there. That's a new insect I never got before. And we're also going to pick up the Dragonfly as well. This is fairly common, but we needed it for the museum. And we're back to the museum again. So I got fish tacos for donating 100 items. I was hoping for something better, but you know what? It's better than nothing. So we're going into the caverns today. I want to make some more progress now. I'm in the wind mine at the moment. We're getting gold ores. There's just one section of the caverns left, and that is going to yield osmium ores. And I'll tell you right now, those osmium bars sell for really nice money. So we will eventually get to a stage where we're going to be bringing in thousands of gold every single day. The kelp essence also sells for nice money, but the osmium kelp essence sells for extraordinary amounts of money. I cannot wait to get my hands on that stuff. So we're going to pay Jack a visit today, and when it comes to animals and animal products, this is the man that is going to help us out. In terms of animal items, he sells temperature machines, animal medicine, which is needed occasionally if your animals get sick, and animals can get sick randomly, which kind of sucks, but it adds a cool element to the game. In terms of purchasing animals right now for the coop, we can grab chickens and we can also grab ducks. Ducks are a bit more expensive, but the produce that they yield is worth more money than the chickens. So we're going to name our first chicken Volcano Wing, and the reason why that popped into my head was because I had some lovely volcano chicken wings a few days ago in a takeaway here, and they were absolutely gorgeous. But don't worry folks, we won't be cooking our animals in Carl Island. I don't think we can cook them anyway. These are going to be egg-laying chickens and egg-laying ducks. So I purchased a ton of starfruit off Sam, and I'm hoping that the starfruit in this game is as overpowered as the starfruit in Stardew Valley. I also made some progress in the caverns. I got the forager ring, large increase in range for collecting items. That sounds cool, and that's a ring I might put on down the road when we're running around Carl Island looking to forage stuff. But for now, I'm going to keep the rings that I currently have. So these are our lovely chickens and ducks. I'm going to give them hay, I'm going to pet them and wish them good night. The next day, we get our first batch of chicken eggs, which was really nice. And I can turn these eggs into mayonnaise if I wish, and the happier our chickens and ducks get, the higher quality items they will produce for us. Now we can always go to the lab and we can do some research to get higher quality hay. That will also help them greatly as well. So we got one mayonnaise machine there at the moment. We can put a maximum of 3 eggs into that every single day to make some mayonnaise. The next day it was raining. That didn't matter much because I have sprinklers put down on the farm. But it was nice to see rain because I haven't seen it in quite some time. Also, when it comes to weather inside Carl Island, certain insects and fish can only be caught during certain weather elements. It's something to note. So I completed the summer sausage bundle as a reward. Got some tomato seeds. Now we're back down into the cavern again. Came across a new enemy here. It was like a giant slime. Slayed that no problem at all. So far with the combat, I have to say it's pretty easy. I haven't been challenged yet in terms of, very difficult enemies. Got some dragon fruit today and some bananas. They'll be processed into jams and other bits and bobs. It was then time for a really cool summer event, the Animal Festival. Unfortunately, to make the most out of this festival, you do need to have a good few animals and pets assembled. And because my chickens were new, they didn't have a whole lot of hearts going for them, so they weren't going to do very well when it comes to these events. So there's a little mini game here. It's a chicken competition. My Volcano Wing versus Bertha. And I wasn't too sure at the time on what I had to do to win. But basically, it all comes down to how happy your chicken is. Because Volcano Wing was fairly new, he wasn't going to do so well. I had to press WASD on the keyboard when the keys popped up on the screen. But because there was such a massive stat difference between my chicken and Bertha, it didn't make much of a difference. So I got 4th place there, got 100 gold. It looked not too shabby at all. I had another look around the event to see if there was anything else that kind of took my fancy. There was a pet race. I couldn't do that though because I didn't have a pet. So this event is going to be something that I have to do next year because I will have a pet next year. I'll have cows and all different manner of coop animals. There was this really cool rodeo event and you had to press WASD again on the keyboard. But as the time progressed, the window of opportunity to press those keys greatly decreased, so it got harder and harder all the time. I had 3 lives, but I'm more then earned my first place reward with this. I got a time of over 125 seconds. That earned me first place, and I got all previous rewards as well. So for the first place, I got the summer burger, 100 points, which was really cool. The second place, I got the assorted grilled platter. And I just ended up selling all these anyway, but look, it's extra money for me. Third place was corn on the cob. And look at the difference between the first place and second place. I almost doubled second place's score, which was actually pretty cool. I also had a look at the pet shop, and I noticed a chicken suit there, 20,000 gold. Honestly, if I had the money, I would have purchased the suit. It was so cool. The next day, I went to Sunny here, and it was time to retrieve my upgraded tool. That was the bronze fishing pole. So fishing will now become a little bit easier for me. It was now time to get the bronze bug net, and the more I upgrade my bug net, the bigger it gets and the easier it becomes to catch those tricky critters. Did some fishing today, got cobia, red snapper, goldfish and other bits and bobs, including the bluegill. And the fish that I didn't have, I can donate to the museum, no problem at all. So a couple of new additions there with fish, put me up to 104 items donated in total. I spent the rest of the day going to different spots around Coral Island to see if they would yield different types of fish. Now, I could have easily used the wiki to tell me, where fish were, but I didn't do that because I just wanted to explore myself and find the fish for myself without using the wiki guide. I got a chub there, which is pretty cool, and I also pulled up a giant snakehead from this fishing area, and they can also be donated to the museum. So when I say there's a lot of fish in this game, I mean it's an understatement. There's an absolute mountain of different types of fish in this game. Maybe there's just too many fish, but I'll tell you one thing, there's way more fish than what you have in Stardew Valley. I also pulled up an octopus that night as well, and that was also a new addition. Also got a grouper, that was a very hard catch, but just a bit of patience, you can nab that sucker up no problem at all. After the grouper, I finally caught a sardine, that was a new fish also, that wasn't too difficult to catch. The next day, we are making more progress down in the diving area, and I'm actually getting closer to the Mermaid Kingdom. We're still on the silver kelp floors though. Once we pass the Mermaid Kingdom, we'll get our hands on the lovely gold kelp. So we're still picking up all of these cores that we need to clean all the isle away, and there's tons of trash to be harvested. Back on the farm, we're just processing more eggs, and we're just doing some other bits and bobs as well with our mason jars, making sure that we're getting the most out of our crops. So this Karacha sauce is selling for not a whole lot of money, but because I have so many peppers, I am actually making decent money off it. All of these blueberries will be turned into blueberry jam using the mason jars. I suppose at this rate, it would make more sense if I can make more mason jars. That would increase my profits dramatically. So this giant boulder could be mined up. I got gold ores from mining it. And I was hoping when I got up these steps there'd be a new area up here, but alas, it's still the same as the beta. Nothing new up here at the moment. That might change later on, but for now, there's nothing up there. I also decided to get a pet today, but before I get a pet, I had to purchase a pet house. 3,000 gold was the price. I would gladly pay it, because when next year comes around, I would like to have a pet for that event. I missed out on so many minigames because I didn't have all of the required animals or pets. I was looking at Inari here, the dog, and I thought he looked really cool, so I'm going to go with Inari as a pet later on. I visited Sunny again. It was time to retrieve my upgraded tool. This was the bronze bug net, but we're not going to stop there. We are going to get another upgrade, the silver bug net, because I really wanted to make a bigger attempt on the critters around Coral Island. There are some ferociously hard critters to catch in this game, so we're going to need all the upgrades we can muster to get those critters in the bag. So we're doing some more farming today in the caverns. I'm getting bronze ore at the moment because I need bronze bars. Bronze bars are something that are always needed. Very similar to how you always need copper bars in Stardew Valley. You always need bronze bars in Coral Island. The ancient battery sells for 700 gold. That's actually amazing. And what I love about Coral Island is that some of the artifacts you find sell for really nice money. So even if you do break open a load of artifacts and you don't need any for the museum, you can still make nice money from it. So Paul visited me today with my new pet, Chuck. Originally this pet was called Inari, but I changed the name to Chuck because my own dog at home is called Chuck. And Inari primarily just stays inside my house. He doesn't actually go outside, and I don't know if that's the way it's intended to be or if there's some sort of a bug with the game. But my pet is basically a bit of an introvert, doesn't go outside, doesn't socialise, happy out to stay in home, roam around the place and do absolutely nothing. But if your pet acts differently, let me know in the comments. So we're farming more copper ores today because I need copper for so many things. And then it's back to pulling up all of our lovely hot peppers. We're going to turn all of these into ketchup. As you can see, I have increased my mason jars. I now have 5 mason jars. I might make more later on, depending on how big my farm actually gets. Mason jars are actually a really nice way to make money. Now you can make much better money with kegs, and kegs is a route we will go down. But for now, we are going to get a barn off the lovely carpenter, and we're going to jump back into the diving scenario again to make even more progress. So we're getting closer now and closer to the Mermaid Kingdom. I'm pretty sure in the next few days we will make it to the kingdom. So I have a dehydrator here, and all of the stuff that I pull up down in the diving minigame, I can put it in this dehydrator, and it converts all the items into jarred items, and these items will sell for additional money. And we can get some really good stuff later on in the diving minigame, especially when we get down really deep. So we're going to get animal feed perk today, 25% of chance that our animals will remain full. And that's a game changer right there, so we don't have to buy hay all of the time. So we're getting banana jam today, dragon fruit jam, we're getting sauce, we're getting loads of great stuff. We also put up a flower hat jellyfish, and we're freeing more of the lovely fish folk down here as well, getting more rewards. So Beluga gave us some gold kelp today, and we finally make our way into the Mermaid Kingdom. We just had to do a very quick puzzle here. The code is actually on the front gate, so it was right, left, down and up. So, you know, maybe these mermaids aren't super smart. But this is the Mermaid Kingdom. Look how cool it looks, and we can go into all of these houses. We can explore the kingdom at our leisure. But first, we have to make friends with the mermaids, and this Sumeru fella isn't too happy with myself at the moment. He's saying, identify yourself, land dweller, and I tried to be passive with him. I said, easy, no need for spares. His response was, no land dweller tells me what to do. He's not very nice. Denali does come in though, and she's going to take me to King Krakatoa. Forgive me if I'm saying that wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's called King Krakatoa. And the king isn't too impressed with me either. Long story short, the princess comes along and persuades the king and the queen to let me stay and explore the Mermaid Kingdom. We can now access the rest of the diving minigame as well, so we're basically, I'd say 50% through the diving minigame at the moment. There's about 50% to go, but that 50% to go yields much greater rewards. Gold kelp, osmium kelp, a lot more fossils that we can break open, a lot more artifacts we can unearth. It's just very exciting indeed. So we're going to go back to the farm for now anyway, and we're going to process all of these blueberries into jam just to make a bit more money. We're also going to pick up more critters here around Coral Island. Got the firefly today. That's actually pretty common, it's just that I just haven't been catching a whole lot of critters lately. So I'm going to get Dinda to make me a silo so I can store hay in it. And I'm going to go to Jack and I'm going to purchase some cows and some sheep. And that's all the animals I can purchase right now. If I want to get more animals, I have to increase the town rank. So those sheep will have wool that I can share off them in just a couple of days. That's going to be pretty cool to watch. I got 120 items there, donated. As a reward, I get loads of Japanese furniture. And I was going to put the furniture in my house to make it look better, but instead I just sell it for extra money. So, I managed to get a stamina fruit today by making it through the Mermaid Kingdom. Thank you very much, princess. And that stamina fruit will increase my maximum stamina, and that's really handy for us. The more stamina fruits we can get our hands on, the better. So I found my first horseshoe crab today. That can be donated, and I also got the blue crab as well, which can also be donated. I made almost 8,500 gold today, and that was primarily thanks to the Japanese furniture. Almost 2,900 gold there for the bed. So I'm going to upgrade my pickaxe again. I'm going to get a gold pickaxe. I need the gold to make faster progress in the caverns. That'll take a few days, but it's going to be a great investment for us. So we're down doing the diving minigame again now, and I'm using vortexinators here to blow up all of the trash. And what's happening now is that a lot more trash is in greater amounts, but it's also taken a good couple of swings to get rid of all this trash. So I need to upgrade my site as quickly as possible as well. I need at least a gold site if I want to finish off the diving minigame. And to get that gold site, I need gold bars and money, both of which I'll have in just a couple of days, hopefully. So it's time to harvest our lovely animals. I'm going to get a milk pail and I'm going to get some shears. I was going to get some temperature machines as well, but I'll get those later on. The temperature machines will make your animals a lot happier, because if it's too hot, they'll make it a bit cooler. If it's too cold, they'll make it a bit warmer. The temperature machines in Coral Island regulate the temperature, so it's definitely worth our time to invest in those as quickly as we can once we've gotten some more money. So we're getting some wool today, we're getting some milk, and we're getting some respect from our lovely animals. The more their hearts go up, the better for us, especially for the event next year. Got a crown of thorns starfish today. That is a new addition, which is pretty cool for us. We can now donate that to the museum. We had to leave the diving area because it was getting late, but we can always go at it again the next day. I do prioritise the diving area in my first 100 days of this game because I really wanted to see what happened when I got to the end, because it is such a massive main quest and a lot of Coral Island, a lot of the activities revolve around the diving minigame. So I got my gold pickaxe back off Pablo today, and we're going to get him to break open a couple of more geodes here so we can just donate more stuff to the museum and get more rewards. I also made it down to floor number 30 here in the Wind Dungeon. I picked up 4 Jamus, that was pretty nice. So we made some good progress today. But why stop there? I pushed even further, got down to the final floor. I got 15 Jamus and we get to free yet another giant. So this is going to be the Wind Giant breed, and now we can enter into the last room in the cavern, which we're going to get our hands on some really good osmium ores. The Wind Giant's name is Gru, and we can build up relationships with him later on in the challenge as well. Before the day was out, I quickly jumped into the next area to get some of this osmium ore to see if it was worth smelting, to see if it was worth selling. And I can tell you right now, it's definitely worth selling. I also got a rank up in the town because I freed the giant. We're now a rank D. And if you notice there, I unlocked the goat and I unlocked the quail. It's a new barn animal and a new coop animal. So I was super excited for that. We also got some merit points, and I got another relationship point up with Alice as well. The next day, it is back to harvesting all of our lovely crops, and of course, all these crops will be converted into artisan goods. I also destroyed a meteor that landed on my farm, and I got some bronze ores for that. And I had some money for the backpack upgrade, so I said, why not? Let's increase the stats to 30. That'll make life much more easier for me. I had a look at the crafting lab development projects, and this is where you can get the end game stuff, the good stuff. The auto feeder, the auto petter, the auto collector, the sturdy computer, but they all require batteries. And batteries aren't something that I can produce at the moment. In order to produce batteries, I need solar panels, and I won't learn that until later on. But there are other ways I can get batteries, and I do figure that out later on in the video. A lot of these machines, when unlocked, will automate a lot of tasks for you on the farm. Auto feeder means you never have to plant hay down again. Auto petter means you don't have to pet your animals anymore. Auto collector means you don't have to go into the coop or the barn and pick up items. They will automate the whole farming process for you. The catching components are needed if you don't want to go to the wiki and try to find out how and where you catch all of the insects and the critters the game has to offer. So I sold some starfruit here, and if you take a look at the starfruit jam, it actually sold for some decent money. But look at the osmium bars, 750 gold a pop here. That is absolutely amazing. So if we want to make tons of money at the moment, osmium bar is the way to go. So our lovely Mickey Doo chicken is sick today, and we're going to have to get a medicine to make him better. Thankfully, we can purchase medicines off Jack, and the medicine isn't super expensive either. So for now, we're going to feed Mickey Doo, pet him, and we'll come back to him later. We're going to visit Pablo today. It is time for another tool upgrade. This time we're going to go with the silver axe because I need to get my hands on hardwood as quickly as possible. We're also giving Alice more gifts today, trying to get those friendship points up, and we're doing some more diamond as well. We're using up our vortexinators here to blow up some trash just so we can save time and energy. Getting the gold kelp is also super handy because we need gold kelp essence to get some of those really nice machines later on in our challenge. So we freed Yogi Shark today. He gave us a fossil node, and we also pulled up a hedgehog seahorse. The next day, Jack read our mind. He actually gave us an animal medicine, which was very kind of him, so he didn't have to buy one. And that's going to fix Mickey Doo right up and put him back to normal, so he's going to lay eggs for us again once more. So we're back in the caverns today, and we are farming ores. I'm starting with copper ores because I need copper for everything, and then I move on to osmium ores to make some more progression as well. Those osmium bars are just too good to pass up. Made it down to floor 10, and I got 10 explosive level trees, and these explosive level trees are really good. Just look at the range on this one. It covers a huge area. Any sort of node that comes through it just gets disintegrated. When I got to floor 20, I got a new weapon, the Flame Guard Greatsword. This weapon is much faster than the hammer, and it does some really good damage as well, so it's going to make killing enemies a lot easier for us. So I decided to get a house upgrade after dinner today. That's going to take a few days, and once the house is upgraded, it just means I can put more appliances into the house. So for the rest of the day, I'm just cutting down trees. I need to accumulate tons and tons of wood for all of the projects I want to do in the future. The next day, it was time for the beach cleanup event, and there's some really cool events here. So the first thing we're going to do is talk to Karen. And Karen says, let's show people we care. So basically, Karen is part of pufferfish, and they're the ones that are polluting the ocean. And that's what we're cleaning up at the moment by doing the diving minigame. There was a really cool pufferfish farmer out for 2,500 gold. I purchased that just to change up my character's look a little bit. I was getting a bit tired of the pink suit. As cool as it is, it was time for a change. Next up, it was time to do the tug of war, and I had to mash spacebar as quickly as I could. And I just want to say right now, and I want to make a big apology to my keyboard that took tremendous abuse so I could win this event. I'm so sorry to my lovely, fabulous Razer keyboard. But it was worth it. We got first place, 500 gold, 100 meripoids, and because we get first place, we get all of the previous rewards too. But because there was only 2 teams on the tug of war, I only got 2 rewards. But look at this. I could purchase recycling machines, I could get a new scrap scarecrow, and I could also buy battery packs. I buy all the battery packs, I buy the scrap scarecrow, and I also purchase a ton of recycling machines. It was then time for the next mini event here, which was a swimming event. I had to mash Q and R very quickly, but because I didn't have great stamina, I finished up in 3rd place. Now I did try this a good few times, I just could not get better at 3rd place. 3rd place was the best I could do. Not to worry though, I set up all of the recycling machines on my farm, and I am going to get back a huge amount of scrap from those, and scrap can be used for glass, it can be used for loads of things. So we are taking care of our animals today. We've got sheep, we've got cows, we've got chickens, and we've got ducks. Eventually, we will have the newer additions, we'll have goats, and we'll have quails, and we'll have everything in between once we get that town rank a bit higher as well. So we're using our new Flame Guard sword today, and it's quite fast, quite powerful, and we're fighting all new enemy types, including these big ogres, and they're easy enough to defeat. So we made it down to floor 30, we're almost finished with the caverns. We got the Blessed Opal Ring. This ring is absolutely amazing. Let's have a look at the description. Increase the chance of finding rare items. So we're going to swap out the Amber Shield ring with that because combat is so easy, we don't really need to block any sort of damage. Once we were finished setting up our gear in the caverns, I sold a couple of more Osseum bars before heading into fall. Each bar does give a whopping 750 gold, so it's a no-brainer to sell as much of that as possible to get tons of money. It's now the 1st of fall, our house has just gotten bigger. That means we can now access our lovely kitchen. Now at the moment, we only have the basic recipe book. We don't have any of the kitchen utensils, so we can only make very basic recipes. But there's an absolute ton of cooking utensils we can get our hands on in this game. There's a shop in Coral Island. It's called a Socket and Pan, and they sell all different manner of cooking utensils, such as the blender, ceramic bowl, chef's knife, frying pan, the grill, the iron skewer, oven pot, seasoning set, and the skillet. So there's a load of stuff that we can get our hands on. Now, if we don't have those utensils, we can still cook regular dishes here, so it's not the end of the world. But the cooking minigame in Coral Island is very vast, it's very deep, and it's a lot of fun. So a new NPC visits us today. His name is Bobby, and we get a showdown with Bobby at the main festival that fall has to offer, and that is the Harvest Festival, and that's going to happen in about a week or 2. So we're going to go to Sam today. It's time to purchase some new crops. I am going to get a ton of grapes today. They are very expensive, but normally the more expensive the crop is, the better yield it's going to have, and we can process that further into grape juice and other really cool stuff to make extra profits as well. Now I also need to purchase some other bits and bobs too, but for now we're just going to start with grapes and we'll work our way from there. So as we can see, the farm is looking quite good. We've got lots of sprinklers, so I only have to water up these crops once. We can also start with the fall sausage and bundle. Now I have most of the forageables pulled up out of the ground, but I need to get my hands on some other bits and bobs by going to Sam and purchasing crops from him, so we'll go back to Sam later and get that. I'm going to get the rare rocks perk here now as well, and in terms of combat, I'm going to go with the critical chance increased. The more critical hits I can do, the faster I can defeat monsters, and there's a lot of monsters in this game, especially when you get to the later dungeons. They're very difficult to fight. I'm going to purchase some rice seeds today. I need that for the bundles. And I'm also going to get my hands on some other bits and bobs as well. The orchard seeds are also needed for the fall sausage and bundle. So I'm just going to purchase a few of those as well. So once they all grow, that will be the fall sausage and bundle done. Just a few bundles to go, and then we unlock the greenhouse, which is pretty cool. I'm also going to purchase tons of fertilizer ones to increase the odds of myself obtaining higher quality crops. I'm going to make a few more sprinklers, put them down on the farm, and we're going to spend the rest of the day then just hoeing up the ground and processing our materials. So I'm making more Ossium bars today because they just sell for so much money, and I need tons of money for everything I want to do in fall. We're also going to start upgrading some of the items here by using Ling's Lab, so I can get the bronze seeds. This means that every time I plant seeds in the ground, they're going to be at least a bronze quality, and that's amazing. We're also going to process some more fossils as well, so we can donate more stuff to the museum. Of course, the more stuff we donate to the museum, the better stuff we get. Now let's have a look at the artifact collection here. And I'm actually very close to completing some of these collections. If you take a look at the cavern collections, the wind, water, earth and fire gem collections, I only have a few artifacts left to complete most of those. I'm not too far off other bits and bobs either. So I finally make it down to the final floor in the caverns, and I get some explosives, which is pretty good. The chieftain is super happy with me. We also get to meet the last giant here as well, just the fire giant. He looks more or less the same as the previous giants. Now I don't really interact with the giants in this playthrough, but during the next 100 days we can always give it a go. So I purchased a blender today in the socket and pan. I get the blender for one reason: making loved gifts for the NPC that we are trying to wed so desperately, and that is of course Alice. Alice absolutely loves green smoothies, and it's super simple to make. All you have to do is just pop a vegetable into the blender, play this little mini game, and we have our green smoothie made. And that's just the start of it. If we can get higher quality vegetables and put those into the blender, we will get back higher quality green smoothies. Now just to experiment, I tried a bug in here and I got back a failed dish, so that didn't really work out for me at all. But I made some ice cream, which was pretty cool. Any sort of milk will make ice cream. So there's loads of different options here that we can choose from. Now if we don't have a dish unlocked, manually putting in the recipes will unlock that dish for you. So we can learn an awful lot of dishes in this game if we use the wiki, for example. So we don't have to get relationship points up with all of the NPCs to get our hands on the best cooking recipes. Gyu is the final giant. He's the fire giant, and Gyu basically explains, long story short, that there's another giant, and that giant might understand the reasons as to why this whole imprisonment happened in the first place with the caverns, but we need to get access to the savannah, which is basically the desert. Now I don't actually get access to the desert in this video, but when I do the next 100-day challenge, I will try my best to get access to the desert. That's of course if the desert is included in this new 1.0 version of Coral Island. So we get lots of Ossium bars back today, 17 in total. They will be sold, of course, 750 gold a pop. We are going to get tons of money from those. We're also going to go back to Lynn's lab. We're going to get the silver seeds now because I have 5 silver kelp essences. That's going to dramatically increase the quality of all of the crops I grow. And this has a knock-on effect, because if I put high quality crops into the artisan machines, I'll get back high quality artisan items. We're going to make some cheese today as well, and we have the usual eggs that are going in the mayonnaise machine at the same time. So we're down now doing more of the dive-in minigame, and we're getting through it. We're more than halfway there. We're now in the areas of getting gold kelp. We will be getting Ossium kelp very soon. So I got level 7 diving today. I can now make solar panels. That's a game changer right there. Solar panels will automatically generate battery packs for me every couple of days. I made over 13,000 gold today, primarily from selling Ossium bars, and Ossium bars are so easy to get. So today we're going back down into the caverns, but I'm on the earth floor. The reason for this is I'm looking to get earth geodes because I want to start completing some of the museum bundles, and I want to get all of the earth floor artifacts so I can get that really cool looking helmet. I get a surprise visit today from the chieftain giant. He's going to give me an item called an artifact desk. Now the desk is really handy, and basically we can use the desk to move anything on our farm around to anywhere, but the more things we move, the more money we have to pay to the giants to move them. So I can just pick up a tree here, for example, with a tapper already attached to it, and I can move that anywhere I want as long as it's on my farm. So the artifact desk is really handy when it comes to organising your farm. If you have a couple of gold to spare, it's definitely worth doing if you want to add some structure to the farm. My farm desperately needs some structure, so I played around with it a little bit today, but then I left it because at this moment in time I have tons of space on my farm, so I don't really have to do a whole lot of organising. So I almost have the rare resources bundle completed, just have to get some more silver kelp essences. I also put up some new critters today, down in the diving floors, and I'm also going to put some more stuff into the dehydrator. Now as my diving skill increases, I will pull up much higher quality diving loot, and the dehydrator will become much more valuable to us. So we're back down in the caverns today, and this time I'm farming up all different manner of ores. We're farming up gold ores today, and all of these ores are needed for tool upgrades. They're also needed to make more of the advanced structures the game has to offer. We're also slaying monsters as well, because I need to get tons of loot for different types of bundles. If you want to complete all of the bundles in the game, we're going to have to do some serious exploration. The next day, it was back to recycling machines, and all the scrap, and most of it, will be turned into glass, because we need glass to make more kelp essences, regardless of what quality we want. So glass is something that we need all the time. So after completing the rare resources bundle, the reward is Osmium kelp essence, and this stuff sells for extraordinary amounts of money. It is so profitable. We also need it for tool upgrades, for example the fishing rod and the bug net, but we'll upgrade those later on. I also made some solar panels. They're generating battery packs for me now, and our chickens and our ducks are doing really well. We're also giving Alice green smoothies every chance we get. We can give her a maximum of 2 gifts per week, but we can talk to her every single day for extra friendship points. I got the cauliflower jellyfish today, and I also got the Atala jellyfish. Now, I probably butchered some of the names of these critters, so if I'm saying the names wrong, I apologise. We're also doing more of the diving minigame, and even though I'm still on the gold kelp floors, I'm actually getting very close to finishing the diving, and we do get some really cool rewards when we finish this massive main quest. More underwater critters to be had today, the Fuchsia flatworm, and we're just continuing on clearing up all of the trash. I also freed A-Gang today. He gave me a queen scallop as a reward. Now we don't need the queen scallop at all for any of the bundles. What we need is a king scallop, but we will get that quite soon. We're using the dehydrator again to process more of the diving loot into lovely jarred goods, so we can sell all that for extra money. And the grapes can now be harvested. Now we're going to get hundreds of grapes from this. All of these grapes will be converted into grape juice, and that'll be sold at a pretty nice profit. I'm also getting orchards as well, and one of these orchards is needed for the goddess altar, so we can progress some of the main quests that way. We're also converting our grapes into jam because we have so many. I got a lot more critters today. The Venus's flower basket. That was the very first time I got that one. Never got that one before. We now have 154 items donated to the museum, which is pretty good. We're going to get tons of rice today. Now I just needed a bronze star rice for the goddess bundle. All the other rice can be converted into sake. I can put those into cakes, and that sells for serious money. So the only thing that was stopping me now from completing the false sausage bundle was a pumpkin. Totally forgot to buy pumpkins. Or what I should say is I bought the pumpkins, but I forgot to plant them in the ground. So we're going to go back to Lynn's lab today. We're going to get some hay. That means our animals will now produce higher quality goods. We're then going to process an absolute ton of geodes and coffers into artifacts, and I'm hoping that most of these artifacts will be ones I haven't received before. We're also going to go to Lynn's lab. We're going to process all of our fossils, and we're going to get back tons of different ancient animal bones. And all of these bones are actually real-life dinosaurs that used to exist on our lovely planet Earth. And the great thing about these fossils is that once they're all completed, we can actually see them properly in the game. We just have to go further into the museum, and all of these items will be on display. So we picked up a giraffe seahorse today. That was new, which is pretty cool. And we're now putting down vortexinators to clear up all of this trash, because there's just so much of it, and I only have a silver site at the moment. I finally get level 6 farming. I can make the sprinkler 2 and the keg. Massive upgrades right there. To make kegs I need wood, bronze bar, silver bar and scrap. Now it's easy enough to get all of those items, but if I want hundreds of kegs, I'm going to have to do serious farming. For the sprinkler 2, we just need some bronze and silver kelp essences and some other bits and bobs that are easy enough to make as well. The recycling machines are going to come in super handy there, because using the recycling machines I can get hundreds upon hundreds of scrap. I also need lots of silver bars for the kegs, so today it was just a full day in the caverns mining up silver ores to make silver bars, because the sooner I can get the kegs down, the sooner we can start making some really good money, especially when we start processing the rice. The next day I get some batteries. That's 9 batteries in total. They will come in super handy when it comes to making those advanced machines later on. Our lovely Mega Moo is sick today, so I'm going to have to go to Jack and purchase some medicine to make him all better again. Otherwise, he'll stop producing milk and he'll just end up getting more depressed and he'll lose valuable friendship points. So we need to get Mega Moo back up and healthy as quickly as possible. So today I'm using up the rest of my grapes. I'm just going to turn it into grape juice. Once I'm finished with the grapes, I'll start using up the rice. We can get some really good stuff then. I'm also using the mason jars as well for the grapes because I just have so many. I'm then converting the silver kelps into silver kelp essences because I need those if I want to make those lovely sprinkler twos. So I found a new ocean critter today. This was the sexy shrimp. So that's one more critter in the bag. And I'm actually doing really well in terms of collecting ocean critters. I actually have most of them now collected, but there are a few still roaming around that I haven't come across yet. So once I had enough of the coral sites healed, I got this really cool scene of this cool mythical looking seahorse, and I managed to free it from its prison. And it's just a really cool scene of the seahorse just swimming around here, super excited that it has been freed. Now I don't get any future interactions with this animal, but it would be really cool if I get to mount this later on or if I get to use it on my farm. Otherwise, why would it show it in such a scene? So I'm really hoping I can actually use that later on. Maybe when I do the 200 day challenge of this video. Speaking of which, let me know in the comments if you want to see me do a 200 day challenge of Coral Island. I got the Bloodbelly Comb Jellyfish today. That was a new addition, and then it was straight back to Lynn's lab. So as we can see, I'm really prioritising the lab upgrades now because they are an absolute game changer. I'm going to go with the Silverhead this time. That means most of the animal products that are generated will be at least silver quality. I'm also getting tons of fossils here from all of the trash I'm clearing up on the diving minigame. And I almost have the monster loot bundle completed, just need 5 batwings. Unfortunately, I sold the previous batwings I had, so I need to farm those batwings all over again. I'm going to go to Jack today. I'm going to finally purchase that animal medicine. I'm also going to purchase 2 temperature machines, one for the coop and one for the barn. And the temperature machines are really handy because they regulate the temperature. If it's too hot, they'll make it cooler, and if it's too cold, they'll make it warmer. It just means that your animals will be happier a lot often, and the happier they are, the better produce they're going to give you. So I got the 8-armed sea star today, along with the Brishindiga starfish, and I'm probably butchering that word, but you know what? I'm trying my best with some of those names. So I got more grape juice today. I'm going to sell all this for some really nice profit. Today was a day of critter catching. We start with the banded waddy bear, then I finally got a monarch caterpillar, followed by a saddleback. These are all new additions. I then got an olive wing butterfly. Now they're all easy enough to catch too, they weren't too challenging. It was then time for the big event of fall, the Harvest Festival. This is one of 2 main events. I was representing Coral Island and my competition was Bobby from Beluga Bay. Let's see who's going to score the most points. So I have a few Osmium quality items there. For example, I have the orchard, and I also have some canned goods got from the diving minigame. Jeff Smith is some NPC I've never seen before, and he is going to evaluate both my display and Bobby from Beluga Bays. Now Bobby is just going with 6 quail silver star eggs, and that's basically it. Let's see how well I do on points. So as we see the points are ticking up for me there, I get 79 points in total. I thought that was actually very good. But then Bobby was getting 15 points per egg, so he beat me. He got 96 points, so I actually lost this event, which was a bit of a pain, but at least I know next time how to actually go and win this properly. I will have much higher animal quality items, and I will be in a much better place to get huge scores. Once the event was finished with, I didn't get any super prizes, but there was a scoring card. And even if I just beat Bobby by a few points, I wouldn't have got much good stuff anyway. I had to get over 160 points to get the stamina fruit, and that's the big prize of this event. At least I know for next year though. I did another event where I had to bite into apples, and the more apples I bit into, the more points I got. Now if I got a skull, or if I got an apple that already had a piece taken out of it, I would lose points. On my first attempt, I got 2nd place, but after a few more attempts I managed to get 1st place, eventually nabbing the apple sampling and 100 merit points, which was pretty good. I also purchased some stuff here in the shop. I got some cocoa seedlings. I also got some pear seedlings as well. So they're going to grow into trees in the next couple of weeks, and it'll be really cool to have those going into the new year. There was also another event where I had to smash open pumpkins, and every regular pumpkin got me 1 point, but if I got the gold pumpkins, I got a lot more points. And after a few attempts, I got first place, 100 more merit points, and some pumpkin pies. So I got over 240 merit points today, which is really nice. I've got 1,270 merit points now at the moment. I do end up with a lot more. I don't actually use the merit points in this video, but I might use them next year. It's finally time to go to Pablo and purchase the locket. The locket is needed if I want to start a proper relationship with Alice, basically to put her into girlfriend status. I also purchased an absolute ton of bronze ore. Reason for this is that I wanted to make a lot more kegs and other bits and bobs, and I was really struggling with bronze bars. I'm also going to go with the gold hay upgrade today. This is going to dramatically increase the quality of animal products that I get on a daily basis. Next up, it was time to make some killings. Now I needed bronze ores to make these, but I needed more killings because I wanted more glass, and I wanted more glass because I wanted more kelp essence, and the osmium essence is going to sell for a truckload. So I gave Alice the locket today, and she was super happy about that. Alice is officially now my girlfriend. That means I can accumulate more hearts with her and we can eventually get married and have kids. Because I had so much money, I'm also going to get the last backpack upgrade. I now have a grand total of 40 inventory slots to work with. I also finished off the Coop Animals bundle today by putting in a large, small chicken egg and duck egg. As a reward, I got a mayonnaise machine, which was pretty nice, and one step closer to completing all of the bundles the game has to offer. Back to the farm, and we're going to process more of our rice now, and this time into sake. We're kind of finished with the grapes, and the sake here is going to sell for extraordinary amounts of money. It does take a few days for the process, but it's worth the wait. So I'm farming bat wings at the moment, or at least I'm trying to. Those bat type enemies have the highest chance to drop bat wings, so coming down here to the bottom layers of the caverns is a great way to get these bat wings. Of course, if we see osmium ores, we're going to prioritise those as well, because the osmium bars also sell for lots of money. So we got a level up today, finally, level 10 mining, plus 1 skill point and some maximum stamina. We also get level 5 combat, we get more max stamina there. And I also made over 16,000 gold, primarily from selling farming related items. So I felt a large impact in the night last night, and that's either going to be a meteor or a satellite that's after crashing down on my farm. It was a meteor today, and it was just a bronze meteor. You can get different types of meteors, you can even get osmium meteors, which is pretty cool. So I figured out that I can use explosives to break apart the large logs on my farm. So there's a great tip for you now. If you don't have a steel axe or even a higher quality axe to break open those large logs to get hardwood, any sort of explosive will do the job. And explosives are actually a great way for cleaning up the farm to create tons of space. So I'm going to go to Pablo again today. This time it's a tool upgrade. Because I have hardwood now, I can finally upgrade my site to a gold site. It's going to take 2 days, but it's going to be worth it because I can now make much faster progress down into diving with the gold site. I'm also going to get the gold bug net off Sunny. The bigger the net, the bigger chances I have in catching those tougher critters. And there's a lot of tough critters to catch in this game, especially the tarantula. That is insanely hard. So I'm smelting more osmium ores into bars before the day is out. And we're back in the caverns again now. We're getting even more osmium ores. Eventually, we'll be using the osmium to upgrade tools. I finally get the 5 bat wings assembled. That is another bundle completed, and the reward this time was 5 level 3 explosives, and that's really nice. Those explosives are absolutely awesome. They're probably one of the best devices you can use to just clear up the whole farm in seconds. Just look at the radius of these explosions and it just wipes out trees, everything in its path. Because I had a few more bundles completed, a new area has been unlocked for me to explore, and this area is very close to my farm. But the first thing we're going to do is collect all of this lovely sake, and we're going to sell this to make even more money. We're also going to collect all of our osmium bars, and we're going to sell that, including the grape jam as well. So lots of money to be had. I also got my gold bug net back off Sunny today, and as we can see, the capture bar on this is much higher than that of the previous net. We're also going to go back to Pablo here, and we're going to get our gold site. And we're going to go straight back down now into the diving minigame, and this time we're on the bottom layer. We're on the 50 meter floor now, so we're now getting osmium kelp essences. There's also a huge amount of trash down here to get through, but because we have a pretty good site, we should get through it easy enough. Let's take a look at the sake. 793 gold for the gold, 690 for the silver, That's really good. Over 1000 gold for an Osseum level socket. So this is the new area that we just unlocked. And this area is home to the Orchard Mantis. Now you can get this outside of this new area, but it's extremely rare. And the Orchard Mantis is also a very difficult catch. So it's really nice to get that. This area also spawns hardwood every single day. So we now have a method of getting our hands on a continuous supply of hardwood. And we need hardwood for so many upgrades, including all of the advanced tool upgrades. So we finally got the Luna Mott today. This was actually a very hard mott, and I remember this mott used to be much easier to catch, but I think they rebalanced the game and they've made some critters easier and some critters harder. But I was now up at 191 items donated to the museum. If I get 200, I get a stamina fruit, which is really nice. I'm going to get Treasure Finder today. Increase chances of finding artifacts by 100%. That's a no-brainer right there when it comes to diving, because there's so much trash to get through. So 20 more Osseum bars today, we all know what that means. Tons more money, 28,000 gold in the bag. We are becoming extremely wealthy. And what are we going to do with all this money? We're going to invest it, because in this game, you cannot make money without spending money. We're also going to get tons of tool upgrades done as well. So we're going to get the Osseum Bug Net. Now this is 15,000 gold coins, but it has to be done. If we want to get the best critters around, if we want to get perfection in this game, we have to spend the big bucks to get the best tools. We're also going to go to Pablo and we are going to upgrade our site again, this time to the Osseum site. We need more hardwood for this, 20,000 gold. So as we can see, the gold goes very fast. But once these tools are upgraded, they are upgraded forever. Now with the Osseum site, we can one-shot the trash down in the diving minigame. It doesn't matter what kind of trash we come across, we can one-shot it. I had a look at the inventory here inside the guild shop. This was actually the first time I went into the guild shop and had a look to see what they had. They had all different types of rings. Some of the rings sounded really good. The dragon flame ring there sounded awesome. And there was also an absolute ton of weapons I could get as well. Now what I've noticed about Coral Island is that the weapons don't have attack stats on them. So I don't know if you're paying just for the skin or if these weapons have hidden attack stats that we just don't know about. So if anybody knows anything about the weapons in this game, just let me know in the comments if I'm missing something. But as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really matter what weapon I have, they all seem to be of a similar strength. But I could be totally wrong about that. Next up, we're going to visit Dinda, and it is time to get another upgrade done. We're going to go for another house upgrade. The reason why we went with the house upgrade this time around is because we need it in order to get married. Alice will not get married and move in with us if we don't have a big enough house. So we had to fork out that huge amount of money to get that done. But getting married is really cool, and it does unlock the potential to have babies as well. And babies are something I'd love to experience in this game. So in order to speed up our progression with these smoothies, I started putting in higher quality vegetables to make higher quality green smoothies. This was a Bronze Star vegetable, and we're going to get 2 Bronze Star green smoothies back for this. So this means more friendship points here with Alice, because I really wanted to max her out now, because before we know it, we're going to be in winter and the challenge is almost finished, so it would be nice to see at least a wedding event before we finish up with our 100 days. I finally get that pumpkin I was waiting for so long. We're going to donate that. That's the fall Sasha bundle done. The reward was barley seeds. Pretty good. I'm also going to add some stuff here to the ocean loot bundle. That was the king scallop. We just need the green sea urchin and the eastern oyster, both of which are very common down in the depths. So that's the barley seeds right there. Now it's a bit too late to put down the barley seeds, but maybe next year. I'm also going to try out a few bundles here. So day insects, I have 3 out of the 5 items needed. The tiger beetle and the yucca moth were items I'm going to have to wait for when the next season rolls around. For the nighttime insects, the big challenge there was going to be the rove beetle. It is incredibly rare to come across and it is incredibly hard to catch. The barn animals bundle will be easy enough. I just have to get my hands on a goat and then I can start getting some goat's milk. The regular goat's milk and the large goat's milk will sort that bundle out, no problem at all. In terms of the basic artisan bundle, most of the items here will be easy enough. The only thing I wasn't too sure about was butter. I wasn't too sure on how to make butter, but I'm pretty sure there's a machine I can use where I can put something into like milk and it will give butter back. So we're doing more fishing today. I haven't done fishing in ages. I got a parrotfish today. That was a new one for me, never put that up before. I then went down into the caverns, done some fishing down here, and I realised there's actually fish specific to the caverns, including the pufferfish there. which is a pretty cool catch. But we didn't finish up there. We also went outside. We got a giant mud skipper. That was a new addition as well. I also got the freshwater eel, which can be also donated to the museum. So I'm getting very close now to getting that lovely stamina fruit. I also got the barramundi. That was a very difficult catch indeed. So in terms of donating items now, I'm almost there. I almost have 200. I've got 197 at the moment. But I'm pretty confident when I bring the next batch of geodes or when I bring the next batch of coffers to Pablo, I'll have it sorted out. And here we go. I've got lots of geodes stocked up here now ready for Pablo to break open. We've got some coffers as well from doing the diving minigame. So I managed to get the ruby there, the rose quartz, the diorite, the moonlight earrings, and just a ton of other stuff that I got, including lots and lots of fossils. That brought me well over the 200 mark. 211 to be exact. The reward, a stamina fruit, and this will increase my maximum stamina dramatically, which was really nice. Also, for collection rewards, I managed to get the fire gem bundle done, because that was all of the artifacts that you can get down in the fire cavern. So that was 9 out of 9, and if you take a look at the earth, water and wind, I'm very close to completing those as well. That was pretty cool. In terms of the reward that I got, it was a really cool fire giant hat, and that was actually the first hat that I've come across, and I'm almost finished this challenge, which made it even more funny. So we're back down into the caverns today. Now we're in the earth caverns because what I'm looking for here are regular earth geodes, because I really wanted to finish the rest of the artifact bundles to get more of those really cool giant hats. The next day my house got a bit bigger, and what's great here is that Chuck actually started to walk around now that the house was bigger. He didn't just stand still outside of the front door anymore, he actually started to move his legs. So I was really happy about that. Animals really need to stretch their legs, so at least Chuck can now stretch his legs up and down the stairs. I still don't know why he won't go outside. I got my osmium sight today. With this, we can easily finish the diving quests. I'm also going to upgrade my pickaxe to an osmium pickaxe. That's going to be the best pickaxe in the game. So I managed to get a new critter today. The giant isopod. That can be donated to the museum. And we're making our way through all of this trash with the osmium sight. We're just one-shotting this trash, no problem. We also have really good range as well. So it's not going to take us too long now to get rid of all this trash, heal up all of the core sites, and then get those really nice cutscenes and really nice rewards that shortly follow. We got the blue starfish as well today, followed by the sea anemone. So these are all new critters that I haven't gotten yet. I also picked up a stone crab. That is another new addition, which is really nice. And I'm actually getting very close now to capturing all of the underwater critters that the game has to offer. There's a few more lingering around the place, and I imagine I will probably have to resort to the wiki for a few, or maybe purchase a few of those items in Ling's lab that will tell me when critters are available to catch. So I got Shiho's seahorse as well today, and because I had so many of the coral sites healed, I got a load of relationship points with a lot of the NPCs there. This is just a quick look at the map, and the sites that are grey are the sites that I have to complete to finish off the diving minigame. As we can see, I've got most of the other areas done. So this is just the last zone here. This is the Lima Pulu zone, 17 out of 23. Once we have that done, we're almost there. It was time for the Spooky Festival, because we're at the end of fall now, and there's a really cool minigame here that we get to do. There's actually a few cool minigames. So the first thing I'm going to do is purchase this Kunti Ghost Scarecrow, and I can put that on the farm. We're also going to get the Pocky Ghost Scarecrow as well. And there's a minigame here where we have to whack the skulls to get points. Different colour skulls give us different points. After a few attempts, I got first place, and the reward was a sus hammer, which is really cool, plus 500 gold and some merit points. This game was impossible to perfect. The best I could do was to get the second best score, which tied with Archie, but a tie wasn't good enough to win. After about 2 hours in real life of doing that event, I just gave up and took the second place. The first place was only a light ring anyway, so it's not super important. So scattered all over the event area were these scavenger hunt items, and you could turn those in for rewards later on. I also got a rank up in town. We're now rank C, and we unlocked loads of new things. But the super exciting thing that we actually unlocked, we have to scroll down a bit to see it, were new animals. We unlocked the pig, and we unlocked the peafowl. I just need to upgrade the barn and the coop to get my hands on those, but I cannot wait to get those new additions. 640 merit points in total today as well, 500 from upgrading the town rank. So we're now on the first day of winter, but because it's winter that doesn't mean we can't do anything. We can actually grow stuff in winter, and because we have the town rank on a C, there's stuff here we can purchase. Snowdrop seeds, tea seeds and cotton seeds can all be purchased from Sam. These can be planted, grown, harvested and sold. We also get a really cool scene here now of the big coral tree being healed. That's the diamond minigame completed. King Krakatoa is super happy. He says, unbelievable, the coral tree is healed. We also get to jump on this really cool mount here, and this mount is going to take us back to the Mermaid Kingdom. Now, nothing happens in the Mermaid Kingdom today. We actually have to go to sleep and come back the next day for the really cool events to take off. But I just wanted to show this scene here because it's not so often I get to jump on really cool mounts and get transported around the place. So we're back in the Mermaid Kingdom, but that's basically it. We're back up on top and we're harvesting more hardwood. I need hardwood to get more tool upgrades done. This was one of my many attempts on trying to get a tarantula. I got very close that time to getting it, but I was just a sliver away from capturing tarantula. Maybe next time. So the reward today was a cool piece of furniture. I ended up selling that actually, and I should really put more effort into my farm and how it looks, but I just wanted to make more money, because the more money I was making and the more upgrades I was doing, everything just got more pricier and pricier. The next day I received a mail from the Royal Council of Naga Castle with respect and gratitude, so I made my way back down to the Merfolk Kingdom to see what it was all about. So they wanted me to reward me in terms of what I did with the coral sites. I have all of the underwater area now fully restored. It was time for great rewards. The first NPC to speak was King Krakatoa himself, and he welcomed me back to the Merfolk Kingdom. And he says, today we bear witness to an excellent resolve. He then gives me a seal here, which is the highest honor, which is great. Now the seal itself doesn't have any sort of significance, but we are going to get some really cool stuff later on. I managed to get some more critters today. Like I got this mantis shrimp, which is pretty cool. I got some seahorses as well. I managed to put up this split-coated lobster, and every time I thought I was getting very close to getting all of the underwater animals captured, more and more just kept popping up. There's just so many of them. So I get a really cool scene today. I had to play this tune on a horn, and once the tune was played, this spirit, and people say it's the goddess, comes out of the tree, and it's going to fly around Coral Island. It's going to heal all of the coral sites and get rid of all the remaining oil that was brought on by the pufferfish company. So here is the first area that's going to get cleansed, and what's very interesting here is that a scientist actually saw this, and we can see him there on the, if you look on the right hand side of that island, we can see the little scientist fella, and he's in total disbelief of what's going on. The next up we have this coral site just above the diamond minigame, and that's going to get rid of all the oil there as well. And then we're going to go on to one final scene, which is just over to the left of our farm here, and this is going to get rid of the rest of the oil. And once this is done, we are going to get huge relationship bonuses with all of the NPCs, which is really nice. And we also get some more quests with the Merfolk Kingdom. Now we don't get to do all the quests in this video because it's just 100 days. But if I do a 200th video, we're going to see a lot more, and I'm hoping to see maybe some of the end game content, which would be really nice. So we finished the Ocean Loot bundle. The reward was the Dehydrator. All that was left was the Winter Sausage and Bundle. That would be one of the 4 altars fully completed. I also got the Atlas mod today. That's also needed for the bundle actually. And I was back to grinding up some hardwood so I could upgrade more tools. I really wanted to get all my tools to Osmium level. I got the Western Tiger Swallowtail today. That's needed for a museum collection. And we're going back to the blacksmith. We get our Osmium pickaxe. That's the best pickaxe now we can get our hands on. So we're going to upgrade the barn today. And the upgrade requirement was 40 hardwood. That's why I was farming so much hardwood, is because 40 is actually a lot. And I don't have any great ways to get hardwood at the moment. I'm also going to go back to Pablo and get him to break open more coffers here, in the hopes to get some artifacts that I don't have yet. You know, I just want to say it here and now, just between us folks, that Concerned Ape could take a few tips on how to process artifacts, because you can process them so quickly in this game. It takes Clint forever to break open geodes. I mean, thank God time doesn't go by when he breaks open geodes, otherwise by the time he'd have all the geodes broken open, the 100 days challenge would be done. So it would basically be 100 days looking at Clint break open geodes. But that's all I have to say. So I finally purchased a wedding ring for Alice, or should I say a wedding belt, because the thing is absolutely huge. There's no way it's going to fit on her finger. So I imagine you just put it around her waist instead, because it's just so big. But Alice refuses to marry me, and I got very confused at this moment in time, because I had her hearts maxed out. I had the house upgrade done, so I didn't know what else to do. So I had to Google it, And it turns out that you had to experience all of her heart events in order for her to marry you. So I had to look up when all of the heart events happened. I also got this cool scene of the crazy NPCs of Coral Island super happy that their beach is super clean again, and in the middle of winter they all decide to jump into the water and have a bit of fun. All I can say is going to be plenty of pneumonia cases the next day, plenty of coughs and flus to be had. The kids, I don't know if they're laughing or if they're shaking. Maybe it's a bit of both. But that just shows how crazy and how high-spirited the people of Coral Island really are. I was back to the caverns, mining up some ores, and this was one of the heart events here with Alice, and she had a fight with her sister, and she doesn't like that her sister likes to take control of the company sometimes and recommends things without first asking for Alice's permission. Now I wanted to be on Alice's good side, so I said she should have asked you first, instead of saying something more aggressive. Alice then said, "Thanks so much, you're a great friend." The usual story. That was one heart event done. More heart events to follow. I really wanted to get the marriage done before the 100 days. We were almost on day 100. Went to Jack today. We are going to purchase some new animals. I'm going to get the goat today and I'm going to get the pig. Now if the pig is anything like the Stardew Valley pig, he'll be no good to us until spring. But I'm going to get it now anyway, just in case something cool happens. So there are new animals added to the farm. I also got the rare and difficult birdwing butterfly today. That was quite a catch indeed. That will be donated to the museum. And we're back down, we're farming gold. And there's a reason why I'm farming so much gold and osmium. Is because I'm looking to upgrade all of the tools now, and I need a lot of gold bars and osmium bars for that. Any extra bars I have, I can just sell. I also needed bars as well for a lot of the bundles. I also made some more extractors, and it's now time to release all of our barn animals. And at this moment in time, these are all of the barn animals you can get in the game. I don't know if more have been added, but we'll find out soon enough when we increase the town rank again. So we had the cow, we had the sheep, we had the goat, we also had the pig. I also purchased an auto feeder because I had all the mats to do so, and it also unlocks the recipe, so I can now make auto feeders myself in the future provided I have the mats to do so. And the auto feeder is really cool because it automatically feeds the animals every single day for you, so you don't have to go back into the barn or the coop and put down all the hay every single time. And the auto feeder goes in a very specific place, which is just up there. And once the auto feeder was placed, as we can see, it automatically places down the hay. So it's a really cool item to have, and I'm super happy now I have that in the barn. It's just one less thing I have to do. So here is another really cool event with Alice. So Alice is asking me about deja vu, and she's asking me if I have a minute, sit with her and there should be a light crossing the sky. We get a really cool scene here of really cool lights up in the sky. Now, knowing this game, they're probably aliens or some sort of mythical dragons, and I'm sure we get to find out what that is later on. Alice also says that she likes me a lot, and I say I feel the same way, and then she says you really are perfect for me, and then we kiss for the first time, which was great. So I'm hoping now that all the events are finished with, it's time to give Alice her wedding belt, and she agrees to finally marry me. Happy days, we can now have the marriage. So she says here, let's get married on winter 11th, year 1 at the beach. She's so specific. Can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. I can't wait either, I can't wait to have kids. So a meteor hit the farm today. This time it was a silver meteor. I got 20 silver ores off that. Not bad. And it was time then to get Pablo to process more geodes. I was really hoping I was going to get the last few artifacts out of the earth geodes today, so I could get a new giant's hat. But alas, it wasn't meant to be. More grinding was needed if I wanted to finish off those artifact bundles. But I got more hardwood today. Then it was time to visit the Mermaid Kingdom. There's an NPC here, and she basically tells me about a potion that you can brew up and it will turn me into a mermaid. But in order for this to happen, I have to go out and gather a lot of high quality materials. So she gives me the choice here and basically said, oh, if only, but I can't breathe in water. She says, yes, it's unfortunate. You need that to survive here, obviously. But then she says she found a scroll, and this is the scroll that can turn me into a mermaid. And I think what could potentially happen is that if I get turned into a mermaid, I might be able to marry mermaids and have mermaid kids and have a mermaid farm. So Coral Island is now getting really, really interesting. The amount of layers that they've added to this game is just insane. This game is massive. A lot more content is inside this game that I didn't get to do in these 100 days. So just please let me know in the comments if you want 200 days. The more likes and comments the video gets, the more inclined I am to do a continuation, and maybe even do perfection. So to become one of the mermaid folks, I need 5 Osmium Kelp Essence and I need 5 Osmium level crops. To make that happen, let's go back to Ling's lab, and this time we're going to get the gold seeds. I have the gold Kelp Essence to do it. That will dramatically increase the odds of my crops being of Osmium level. So I managed to get a leaf beetle today. Believe it or not, this was my first leaf beetle. But I didn't mind too much, it just means I can donate yet another item to the museum. Here's a really cool scene here of Theo with his friends sitting by the fire. This is what Coraline is all about. It's all about hanging out with friends, living your best life, and Theo here is singing some really nice songs for everyone to listen to. At the end of the day, I'm at a whopping 32,000 gold. This was primarily from selling Osmium Kelp Essence, which sells for 1,500 gold a pop. Because I had so many batteries from the solar panels, I sold a pack of those and I got loads of money. And then the next day, it is time to finally get married. And here is the really cool marriage event. It's myself and Alice ready to spend the rest of our lives together. And everybody turned out to see us get married, which is really cool. It's a wedding on the beach. Who doesn't want to get married on the beach? And I just want to say it right now before this video ends. Fair dues to the developers for putting so much effort into events like this. They really pulled out all of the stops when they were making little events like this. The marriage event is absolutely amazing. Even the camera angles that they get here, and it's just so nice, the decorations. So much better than the Stardew Valley marriage event, in my opinion, of course. Please don't fight me in the comments. So Connor here gives me some options. And it doesn't really matter what you say, you're going to get married regardless. So I'm just going to go with the first one here. And then Alice really breaks out the notes. You are my home, even though I've often felt like an outcast in this world, you've always made me feel welcomed, accepted and loved. But that is a comment, folks. Gamer Gar, I love you more than words can express, and I vow to spend the rest of my life showing you just how much you mean to me. Sounds good to me. Telling you every single theory I find interesting, spilling many more glasses of wine. Just don't spill them in the house, please. Sitting at piers, watching the sky, looking for the unprovens. And then it's the usual, do I promise Alice the lover in the usual, sickness and health and true rich and true famine and all that stuff. I say, of course. Alice says the same thing. And then it's finally time to kiss the bride and get on with it. On with the challenge. And here we go, folks. This is what Coraline Island is all about. And now we're going to run away together. Run down to the Mermaid Kingdom. So once we get married, the house has changed a little bit. Alice has moved all of her stuff into the top of the house, which is really nice. I really like the decorations there. The rest of the house is just totally bare. So I spoke to Alice today and she says one of my hobbies is definitely reading. Now if we take a look at the relationship page, because we got married, Alice has 4 additional hearts to fill out. I imagine once those hearts are filled, I'll get a stamina fruit and maybe the potential for babies. I also went for the coop upgrade today because I want to get the rest of the coop animals before we get to our day 100. So let's have a look at the kegs now. Today we have lots of materials to make lots more kegs, and I'm going to make as many kegs as possible. 8 more kegs in total. I'm going to put those right down, and it just means I can just make more artisan goods. I'm also going to use my last earth gem here and enchant my Osmium pickaxe. Now someone told me in the comments already that you can use regular artifacts, gems for enchantments. I didn't know that. Thanks so much for telling me that. When I do my 200-day playthrough on this game, hopefully I can do a 200-day, I'm going to enchant all of my tools to make them really cool. So I got the rare drop, 40% with that. Super happy. It's now time to go to sleep with my new wife, Alice. Even though it's winter, she doesn't seem to want to use the covers. I'm sure we'll find a way to get warm together. The next day, I get totally ignored here. She just wakes up and walks straight out of the farm. She doesn't even help me harvest all of the crops, process any of the materials. She just walks out. But you know what? Maybe she's just in shock. Today, I'm going to purchase a stables. This means I can get a horse shortly after. We're also going to go back to Sunny, and because we're finished with the catching nets, we're now going to start upgrading our fishing rods. So we're going to go up to silver fishing rod there. That'll take a couple of days. We're then back down in the caverns, and we're on the earth levels again, and this time we're trying to get more regular earth geodes because I really want to get the earth giant hat before the day is finished. A satellite also hit my farm today. I got 3 battery packs and 20 pieces of scrap from breaking it open. So I totally forgot to plant the snow petals. that means we're not going to see the final winter bundle get completed in this video. We're going to have to wait until the 200-day video if we want to see the greenhouse in effect. So, my bad, I forgot to plant the snow petals. I'm farming silver kelp essences today, and there's a few reasons for this. One of the main reasons, of course, is to get some upgrades done, especially when it comes to getting the upgrades done in Ling's lab. I need lots of silver kelp essences for that. So we're making a lot more crop patches today, and we're processing more grape juices. I actually have hundreds upon hundreds of grapes because I got so much over the fall. So I got my first goat milk today. That was pretty cool. That's needed for one of the bundles down in the altar area. We're also going to visit Jack now, and we can finally purchase some new animals. So we're going to start by getting the horse. We're going to call the horse Gamer Horse. I was going to call the horse Chuck, but my pet took that name. We're also going to get a quail, and we're going to get a peafowl. I'm hoping though, if I do 200 days and we get more town ranks unlocked, I'll be able to get more animals. So this is just a scene here of me running around with the horse. We're going to collect some more hardwood because we need that to upgrade more tools. The usual story, of course. We're also going to do some more diving today, and I got a harlequin shrimp today, and that's a new addition to the museum, which is great. I'm also collecting more osmium kelp, and that can be turned into essence, which sells for loads. I also got the red knob starfish today as well, and that's also a first. So that's more museum points for us. So it's now time to finally get rid of all of our crops. We're getting tons of tea leaves. That can be turned into tea if we put it into the kegs. We're also getting tons of cotton as well. So I'm going to make loads of tea today. And this is actually day 100 as well. So I just want to say now to everyone, thanks so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you all had a great Christmas, and I hope you all have a happy new year. My best wishes go out to everyone. I also want to point out that I got some new artifacts, including a C.I. Joe. He must be the cousin of G.I. Joe, maybe the less popular cousin. But I thought that was actually hilarious. In terms of collection rewards, look how close I am to finishing off most of the collections the game has to offer. I'm one off each of the earth, water and wind puzzles. I'm very close to getting the vintage artifact puzzles done and the gem collection. So I should get that in 200 days surely. That's of course if you wanted 200 days. So if you've made it this far in the video and you haven't subscribed to the channel, could you do me a massive favour and just hit that subscribe button? Because the more subscribers I get, the more my channel is going to grow. And I've hit this channel with everything I've got this year. Between my 2 kids and my full-time job, it's really hard to release content on a weekly basis. So I really am doing my best. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please think about subscribing. It won't cost you a cent, and it just means when I release new content, you'll see that lovely notification pop up on your YouTube channel to let you know that there's a new GamerGar video. So thanks again everyone for watching. Here's just a quick overlap in terms of the town ranks. So we're at C rank, and let's try to get that to A rank the next time we play Carl Island.